Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, criminal defense lawyer, board certified, I might add. Now, today we're reacting to the recent developments in the YNW Melly case. Now, if you remember Melly is charged with the death of two guys. Melly and Bortland were arrested and each charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Authorities say that 2 men fatally shot their friends, 20-year-old Chris Thomas Jr. and 21-year-old Anthony Williams, YNW sack chaser and YNW juvie. Now, we've kind of go over what the facts of these are, so I'm not going to go over the facts in detail. But what's really interesting in this case is that the defense, and he's got some good defense lawyers on his side, the defense has filed a motion to get rid of the death penalty. And the judge granted that motion. Now, let's talk a little bit about the death penalty in Florida and what the aggravating factors are. And in this case, they were trying to allege that this was a gang hit. Basically, it was done for the benefit of a gang. And I said that it was weak, that was the connection to gangs was weak, because they're not rival gang members. They were friends of theirs. They were close associates. I just didn't see this as being, for the benefit of a gang. And so, in order for the state in Florida, because not every state has the death penalty, but in order for the state to proceed and to seek the death penalty, there has to be one of a number of aggravating factors. And what is an aggravating factor? An aggravating factor is something that's not present in your normal case, and it's something that heightens the severity of a case. For example, particular cruelty, a particularly vulnerable victim. And in this case, the aggravating factor that the state was trying to prove was that it was a crime for the benefit of a gang. And while, YNW Melly may be part of a gang, there was no evidence, in my opinion, and I said this in one of my earlier videos, that I thought it was extremely weak. And I'm glad to see that the death penalty, first of all, I totally oppose the death penalty. I think it's barbaric, and we shouldn't be, the government should not be in the business of killing. And when it comes to the death penalty, it's not equally enforced or imposed. And in fact, it's largely imposed on the poor and those who can't afford good lawyers. Now, in this case, we have YNW Melly, and YNW could be perceived as a gang, just like YSL, is being targeted. And there's a blurred line between something that may be a gang or maybe it's a record label. And the government in you're seeing around the country is trying to blur that line and try to say that these crimes that they're committing are for the benefit of a gang and not a record label. But in this case, the defense filed a motion, and let's just kind of read a little bit. The court has found no legal authority directly applicable to the facts in this case. As far as the court can ascertain, the issue in the defendant's motion is one of first impression in Florida. So the prosecutor intended to seek the death penalty. The prosecutor must give notice to the defendant and file the notice within the circuit court within 45 days after the arraignment. Now, the defense argued that the state is precluded from seeking the death penalty at trial because the state failed to file a notice of intent to seek the death penalty within 45 days of its arraignment on the superseding indictment. The state argues that the court lacks authority to determine the pretrial that the death is not a possibility where the state is in full compliance of Rule 3.181. However, the state is not in full compliance. In other words, actually, so what they're saying here is that the state did not comply with the rule. And the state cites no authority holding that this court cannot preclude the state from seeking the death penalty where the state has failed to comply with the 45-day notice requirement. That's interesting. All right, so this is what we call a fucking classic blunder. The state failed to give notice within 45 days of the indictment of the intention to seek the death penalty. Now, when you live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? So, I've had, deadlines jammed up my ass if you've missed a deadline. And it's a hard and fast rule. For example, you have, if you have a scheduling order and the judge says you do this by this time, otherwise forget about it, and you don't do X, Y, or Z, well, then you're sort of fucked. And here's the thing. If that screws your case and you're representing a paying client, you get your ass kicked by the client. The client now has a claim against you for ineffective assistance. Well, in this particular case, the state failed to file their notice in a timely way. And the court said it's mandatory, and it's not something that can be overlooked. A lot of times courts will say, okay, well, you didn't file a notice, but, we're going to overlook that because there was no actual prejudice. In this particular case, the court said, you didn't file the notice, it's mandatory, see you later. So this is a classic fuck-up by the prosecutor who just didn't file their notice on time. This would be an appealable ruling. God, because their trial is supposed to start later this year. But if the state files an appeal, a pretrial appeal of this ruling, that'll delay the case even further. And we were supposed to try this like months ago. We were supposed to start jury selection like May 1st, or I think it was May 1st, somewhere around there. And that was expected to take about, 4 to 6 weeks. And now death penalty is off the table. So so if death penalty is off the table and they don't appeal it, then it changes the type of case that it is. So they don't have to find a death penalty qualified jury, which is a totally different type of jury selection. So, Melly's sitting there, and, before he was incarcerated, he sent to all my fans and supporters, no, I did not get locked up in Washington, but I am turning myself in today. He wrote, I want you guys to know that I love you and appreciate every single one of you all. A couple months ago, I lost 2 brothers by violence, and now the system wants to find justice. Unfortunately, a lot of rumors and lies are being said, but no worries, God is with me and my brother, YNW Bortland, and we want you all to remember it's YNW family. I love you, YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie, hashtag free us. I guarantee you this particular post on Instagram will definitely be part of the trial. So one thing that we have not talked about is earlier in June here, the prosecutors are who are trying the case claim that they've obtained evidence that shows that Melly commissioned, as yet to be revealed, person to commit a series of crimes. These include narcotics trafficking, firearms violations, and authorizing the killing of his mother. The rapper and his mom seemingly dismissed the claims on social media, while a story on Melly's official Instagram account referenced lies and false agenda regarding the rumored hit. His mother, Jamie Demons King, shared a story on Instagram that read, "This is pure desperation" on the part of the prosecutor. So, and that's according to BET. So we are encouraged by the ruling from the judge, and while they may try to appeal this, I don't think it's really an appealable ruling. I think, you either followed the rules or you didn't follow the rules. If you didn't follow the fucking rules, guess what? You're fucked. And I think that's what the judge said to the prosecutor here. So, I mean, when you got a job to do your fucking job. And thankfully, I mean, so he's dodging the death penalty here just by skin of his teeth. However, even if they were to bring it before a jury, I think, it was for the benefit of a gang. Part of it, I think, is so weak. I don't think that would have survived anyway. So that is our update on YNW Melly. Scheduled to go to trial later this year. We'll keep following up, and so you guys keep following us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, subscribe, like, follow, spread the fucking word. Stop yourself snitching, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God?